was your upbringing like?
I mean, I grew up, pretty much like the average kid, happy. My mom, my stepdad was in my life. Enjoyed playing games in the community, recreation. Participating in all my educational endeavors. So it wasn't nothing that was dysfunctional about my childhood up until around, I think, 10, 11 years old. My mom went away to prison, and she started using drugs, at a very high rate, and that affected my entire household. So at that point, my biological father wasn't in my life. I had an older sister who had a father. He looked out for me as much as he can or could. My grandparents, they was very, very involved and engaged. So it was easy for me to transition from my mom to my grandparents. Yeah. But overall, no, it was real. I had fun. I love to learn and be involved in a lot of community initiatives at that young age, whether it be the local recreation centers. We had community organizations that always did aftercare programs and summer events. So it was really normal up until the point where as though the drug climate really took over my house and changed the way we was living in terms of my mother now had to spread funds so thin to support her drug habit and take care of the household. So that's when it became abnormal, and then you start seeing a 10-year-old kid in the corner trying to sell drugs to survive. Yeah. And at that age I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew it was something that would bring money in, and not having, I guess a father figure in my life, because my stepdad was locked up and my mother was on drugs, so it was more or less I was free at that age, so mature at 10 to do what I was doing.
Yeah. So how did that? How easy, for people who may not know, how easy was it for you at the age of 10 to get involved in?
It wasn't really easy because I think that being a popular kid in the neighborhood and everybody knew my mother and my uncles and my aunts and stuff like that, they were really, opposed to the idea of Stokey selling drugs. Yeah. But I was so mature and so street savvy that it was able to, adopt me in that lifestyle. Yeah. Because everybody was using juveniles at that time, but it wasn't like it was something that was so prevalent that every kid at 10 years old was selling drugs. Yeah. So I was one of the few kids who did it and, became good at it, and once you become good at something, it becomes habitual, so to speak. So it was kind of easy because at that time it wasn't dangerous as it is now. Just hold it, sit down, and get out the way. Police ain't gonna touch a kid, But it wasn't like it is now, whereas though these young kids out here are so violent, so frustrated and angry at everything that comes their way to a point where though you really can't have a relationship with them. So I was one of those special 10-year-old kids.
Yeah. So how long did that last, and when did that kind of come to a head?
Wow. Honestly, man, that was the beginning of my crime spree. I started selling drugs at 10. I didn't stop until I went to prison at 27 years old.
I want to, candidly, and we can always edit anything you want to edit out, or you cannot answer.
But I'm good, man. Okay. I told you. Anything. Anything.
So how was it? Did you enjoy it? How was selling drugs? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
At the time, you out there, you hustling to get ahead, so it was fun. It was a rush to get as much money as you could to live the best life you could. It wasn't like you was competing against anyone in particular. The person who had the best product got the most money. The person who got they say the early bird get the worm. All those street, moratoriums that was in place back then, applied to myself and anyone that was hustling. So, it wasn't a second thought like, okay, don't do that and drown. It's either do that and win. Yeah. And now it's so different because the complexion, the rules, the players, everything has changed. So for me, it was like, you grew up, you got your own money, you go catch a hack at school instead of catching a bus, you buy your own lunch. Yeah. It was like a kid on steroids. Yeah. Man. So I can't tell you that I was dismayed at the fact that I had to sell drugs to survive or get ahead, but it was one of those things where as though I made the best out of it.
Yeah. So at any point between 10 and, you said 27?
Yes, 28.
Any point between 10 and 28, did that change? Was it always fun? Was it always...
As you got older and more mature, and then, you start having kids, and, you realize now that this could take your way or lose your life, and your health, then you start to try to figure out ways to get out. And some people create lifestyles from selling drugs that a regular drug can't suffer. It's like you can't just start accumulating all these bills and then go to McDonald's. That's not how it works. Yeah. So you got to try to find a way to really financially evict yourself from the drug game.
Yeah.
And there are not too many people that's strong enough to evict themselves.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it was like, okay, prison. You know, and then when I went to prison, I had time to think about all the things I could have done and wanted to do, and I made sure when I came home, I did them. Because, like, you know, you a lot of guys don't get second chances. Although I spent 12 years in prison, the most important thing of my vacation, which what they call it, was being away from my children. You know, and one thing I learned about time, you can't ever get it back.
How old were your children when you went in?
Again, my oldest son was, I think, Devin was, if I left in 97, Devin was like 10. You know, and my youngest son was 1. You know, so, you know, you talking about a 9-year, you know, difference, you know, in kids, but they all I had. My mother was deceased. She died when I was in pre-trial. I had my sister, but, you know, brothers on my, you know, on my dad's side, but other than that, like, it was just me.
Yeah. So what was your oldest son's reaction? Do you know what his reaction was?
I don't really know if he knew
Yeah.
exactly the extent of my crime or the penalty that I was about to pay. I just think that, like most kids, when someone is incarcerated, they don't know exactly how long it's going to be. They just know that things have changed, you know. And I was seeing as much as I could, or as much as they could afford to bring them to see me, because I wasn't local. I was all over the country, you know, places that people can't even pronounce, you know, on the map. But I had good, strong family ties. I had good friends that supported me throughout my incarceration, who made sure I seen my kids. And I wrote letters and I talked to them on the phone. Good. So it wasn't like, you know, it was a major disconnect, you know, between our relationships. And or he didn't know that his father was still alive. He knew I was away. He knew and remembered what I did for him before I left. So those memories kept him going.
Yeah. What about the 1-year-old?
He was so crazy that he didn't know what was going on. Like, and it's so funny because I remember one time him coming to see me, and I was on a phone booth. Well, we was like in a phone booth, and he like, "Daddy, you can't get out," you know. And I was like, and it made me cry because, like, damn, I'm doing these things for my son, but I'm doing these things to hurt my son. So you know, it wasn't like, you know, I didn't know at the time what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't think the effect it would have on my children, you know, would be so detrimental, you know, the way it was in terms of their growth, you know, and that prosperity and that, you know, happiness and things like that.
So what would you say was it that made you sort of decide that you were never going to do that again? Obviously, so from my perspective, some people go in prison, right, and come out and do the exact same thing. So what was it that allowed you to break that habit? Was it in conjunction with your kids?
Yeah,
and with prison, everything?
No, prison, see, for me, it's a myth. Prison don't change you. Yeah. Prison houses people. My kids and my thinking my thinking changed, and I knew I couldn't affect my kids the way I did before. So in order to do better, you got to know better. And I knew better, so I was going to do better. And that was it. I mean, you know, I made a mistake. You know, I wasn't actually intentionally trying to kill anyone, you know, with violence. You know, I sold drugs, you know, like a lot of other people. I never used drugs, but I sold drugs and to make a living. And I realized I was too smart to use that as the only viable source to survive or create my income, you know. And I wasn't going to put myself or my freedom in jeopardy ever again, you know, intentionally anyway. And I look at what I did to my kids. Like, you know, I can't get them 12 years back, you know. But luckily we are able to still have that strong family connection with which all my children are on the same page. We call ourselves Team Cannady. They support me, I support them. They are healthy, you know. One of my sons is incarcerated, you know, and not because he was a bad person, he made a poor decision. He carried a gun in the city that 300 people get killed in every single year. So I understand why he would want to protect his riches, because he was a rapper, very successful, and he had seen some guys that were with him get killed, you know, and he didn't want to be one of them, you know, because, you know, hate and ignorance is no excuse, you know, but people use it every single day in Baltimore. And over the last 5 years, as you can see, we had 300 plus homicides. He just didn't want to be one of them, you know. So I understand why he made the decision. I just wish he would have conferred with me, and I could have told him, listen, get a security guard, a private security guard, you know. And I had to fix that. Yeah,
because I was going to say, what is the answer for people like your son, for people?
But everybody not a celebrity in Baltimore, and everybody doesn't have a financial vested interest to protect on a daily basis. You know, you got local celebrities, you got local athletes and things of that nature, but, you know, all of them not dealing with this particular demographic that he deals with every day. You got, you know, Lamar Jackson, he's a professional football player, but he's not roaming the streets of Baltimore. He plays on the football field. So when someone sees him, it's, you know, in and out. You know, it's not like he got to, you know, gel with these people or interact with them on a daily basis. because he don't. My son didn't have to either, but that's where he make his living at. You know, going to some of the schools, going to some of the local shows and local, you know,
events, venues,
and things like that. You know, like you say, you know, the venues in Baltimore are so, you know, close. You know, you can't you go to rock, you hit all of them. You know, so when he visit the venues and things like that. But for the most part, man, you know, one thing I do know, my son is a good person.
Yeah.
He's made a bad decision, you know, and he's okay with that. You know, it's not like he's sitting there beating himself to death. We understand how politics play out. We know certain people can get away with everything, and some people can't get away with nothing. You know, and he's one of those people who probably can't get away with nothing based on association or, you know, affiliation. But for the most part, I'm glad that I still have my son.
Yeah.
He's alive, he's healthy, he's smarter, he's wiser, and he won't make the same mistake twice.
So for the 10-year-old Stokey, what other options other than selling drugs were there?
Back then,
Back then.
there was plenty of opportunity. I mean, for me to sell drugs was, you know, not the only thing I could do at that time. I mean, I didn't have to take care of myself. I thought I did.
Gotcha.
I mean, you know, you have people that are adolescents and teenagers that get more help from federal government or city agencies, you know, still to the day. So that was just a lethargic way of thinking. But the average 10-year-old need to go to a rec, do his homework,
Go to school,
play catch one, catch all, get out of the way.
Yeah.
But I was one of those kids who just was like abnormal. I wasn't doing the things that other 10-year-old kids were doing. So that was my poor thinking, my poor decision. But I didn't have a father figure or a mother in my life to make sure I was doing the things I was supposed to be doing. So you can say you can blame it on the parents because they really wasn't there. And my mama, if she was alive, she would take that. Yeah. But I knew right from wrong, even at 10, you know, I knew right from wrong. In school, you know right from wrong, you know. So it wasn't like I thought that I had to do it. I wanted to do it because it was attractive. It gave me the means to an end, you know. So I thought I was taking advantage of it. And I became good at it. And little did I know, you know, 18 years later, I would be in federal penitentiary serving a 15-year sentence for some of the things I thought I had to do.
Yeah. What would you say, has that changed at all? Do you think that there's still those opportunities that you had when you were 10? Or do you think that there are less opportunities now for the average?
It's definitely less opportunities and resources now. I mean, you know, again, we had BNBL, Project Survival, House League. We had all the recreation centers in the city. Now all those programs are gone.
I never heard any of those.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? You know, and, you know, there are definitely less resources and less opportunities. That's why you see kids that's so hopeless and desensitized trying to create a life of their own because they don't think help is coming. For me, I had help. You know, we have committees, community centers and things like that, or organizations that were able to help and assist where, you know, the family was falling on a hard time or hardship. Now, it's either hardship or help. Yeah. Right? You know, and if someone don't come to help you, which pretty much they don't, these kids try to find it on their own, and I can understand. I can relate to that. You know, I see it every single day. You know, and there's a lot of trauma that's attached to that. You know, and the only way you can fix something like that if you have some type of experience. You can't guess your way through that maze because it's dealing with personal, you know, and lack of ambitions and all type of you know, feelings and emotions that go through a person every single day when they forced to live a certain way.
Yeah. And what I will say from my own experience, so I was never in the streets. I never sold drugs. I never sold drugs. Yeah. But everyone around me did.
Right.
I was, in most people's eyes, the kid that was gonna make it. Right. The one that everybody said, make sure you don't do this. You don't need to be doing that. Stay in school. Do your homework. Do music or whatever. My mother was able to put me into a private school for middle school, so that kept me out of my neighborhood most of the time. I would do after school activities, etc. But I still was affected by the lifestyle and the mindset because I was the younger one and I wanted to be like my older family members, etc. And so because of that, I found myself in certain types of trouble and got in trouble and got kicked out of schools left and right or whatever because that was still a part of it. Go ahead.
So the lifestyle caused you to get put out of school?
No, it wasn't a lifestyle. I think it was, so now that I'm older, looking back on it,
right,
there was a disconnect between my life at home and what I was seeing in private school. So there was that disconnect that when I went there, I was seeing people, a bunch of my friends who I'm friends with still today, parents are millionaires, got all types of money, completely disconnected from the city. And I grew up in Evanston and Paces, or downtown, I'm in Evanston Village.
Right.
So what I saw there, and I'm seeing that there is no options. I don't see my friends going to Prague and going to, I don't even know, these different countries. and I'm trying to make 2 and 2 meet.
Right.
So I'm like, who do I have to be? I don't know if I'm supposed to be like the.
So you go to identity crisis, you know what I'm saying?
You telling
me.
me?
I mean, and like, I know this is your interview. I can't.
Yeah, no, please.
No, but
no.
I'm saying is that like a lot of kids like who have a silver spoon, their options are many, and to say that you still make the same decisions, whether it was nurture versus nature, I can go on and on about poor decision making. But what I'm saying is that you wasn't forced to live a certain way.
No.
So therefore, I blame you at a certain point
Absolutely.
for making those poor decisions.
Absolutely.
But what I say to those who don't have the same excuse because they only can deal with the plate that they was given, and that's what I see every single day with a lot of kids who have been totally ignored and denied opportunities to be, successful by way of economics or violence, or poverty, however you want to put it. But for me, a 10-year-old kid is a 10-year-old kid. You playing with toys, you playing with catch all, playing phone tag, doing things a normal kid have been accustomed to doing since I can remember. Now technology has took centerfold, and now people doing things different. Now 10-year-old kid is on computer all day long, on his phone, iPad or whatever, trying to educate or increase his awareness of what the world has to offer by way of socializing, right? But now, when I think about where we're going and not where we've been, that's the bigger question. Because now you learn from those mistakes or you learn from the things that benefited people the most and you add to it. And I think that's why I come in now because my experience, right, can look at a 10-year-old kid today and say, what can I do to make sure he don't make the same mistakes I made, even with the same conditions, And you can't sit there and say, oh, you don't know better because you experienced it. You can tell a kid who got picked out of school what that's like. But if you never got kicked out of school, you don't know what that's like.
Exactly.
And I think right now, dealing with a lot of other issues, corruption, misappropriation of funds, and a lot of improprieties, I can relate to why some people make poor decisions. Not those exactly, but I can relate.
Yeah. And so how would you, so you're running for office.
Correct.
So what is one thing or however many things that that you would do differently just from what you've seen?
Man, help the people.
Yeah.
You got to focus on the problem. As I told you earlier, off camera, that we don't have a reservoir. We don't have a Federal Hill problem. We don't have a Canton or Bowling Park or Bolton Hill problem. We got issues in those communities where as though maybe more trash pickup, maybe a little more bike trails and infrastructure and things like that. But we have a major crisis in the city of Baltimore where as though, 1 out of 5 males are either incarcerated or in jeopardy of losing his life. In 2005, we arrested 100 and something thousand people, which to me was over arresting based on stats and statistics, and we only got 600,000 people in the city. So that's mass incarceration 101. But now you look back at 2019 and another year of 300 something plus murders, that means the crime plan ain't working or the people in the office who's govern these affairs are missing something. Yeah. And I just totally believe that the problem that they have delegating these matters is that they can't relate to the problem. Yeah. So they're improvising and strategizing and they're using more opinions. Yeah. And those opinions are not factual, so they're going to always be a disconnect. Yep. So what I would do different, first of all, I'm doing an overall audit on every major department in the city to make sure all the money that's been allocated go to where it's supposed to go. And then I'm going to come up with a right cohesive, robust plan that moves the city forward. We got to find ways to make money. Yeah. We can't keep raising taxes. We already at the ceiling in terms of local income tax. Yeah. And if you raise property tax, you're going to start seeing more black flight and more white flight because you're in a city that's dangerous and the taxes are high. So, that doesn't make sense. That's a major atrocity waiting to happen. So you got to start investing in things that, people who don't mind spending money on. Renewable energy, Solar in Baltimore, coming up with 21st century ideas and concepts, bring in new developers in the city who will partner with somebody like me with my relationships, talk about investing into, artificial intelligence, doing things that create jobs and opportunities. And especially in the inner city, we need more resources for these young men who feel like help is not coming. Yeah. If you give them an opportunity, if you invest in education, and I get the Carlmichael Commission, I get that. They talk about we need $330 more million. I get that. Yeah. But we still got to make sure we got the right teachers in there that these kids can relate to. Teaching the right curriculums. In the 5th grade, get them a skill set. 9th grade, get them a trade so if they don't graduate, they can have something to fall back on. Yeah. We got to change the way we do business in Baltimore and not just worry about one particular demographic, worry about the whole city. Because Pennsylvania Avenue, historical as it may be, don't look like President Street. Yeah, we got the Billy Holiday statue, okay. But come on, man. Like, you look down in the harbor, you can eat off the ground. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's sad because I'm from Baltimore, and I'm older than most guys that, are running and don't really remember how Baltimore used to be. But we shouldn't have to keep looking back on good times. We should be able to look forward to greater times because we're supposed to learn from the past. Yeah. And I don't see that happening. And that's one of the reasons why I got involved because, again, I know how that works. And I know I don't know everything. Like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a paramedic, but you hire one for that. Exactly. You use your relationship and your resources to delegate matters to a point where as though you can use your business savvy and say, you know what, I can make that decision. And I'm here to tell you, Baltimore don't need a politician right now. We need a leader who can manage and a manager who can lead. And people don't feel bad about following. You can't look at my past and say, 30 years ago he did X, Y, Z. Let's look at what I've been doing the last 10 years. Yeah. I've been invited to every city of the state address. I mean, I've been invited to congressional inaugurations by the late, Elijah Cummings, every mayor on speed dial, even the current mayor, who hasn't called me yet, but it's okay. Every commissioner, that has been in Baltimore the last 5-6 years. So I have relationships. I've been doing the work. Yeah. And my past didn't stop me from helping them. Yeah. So why should my past stop me from helping the city, right? Yeah. So I'm waiting for that to come up because it didn't stop. Someone from invite me to the state of the city address. So y'all want me there? I'm coming. Y'all want me a part of this meeting to talk to the Department of Justice, and find ways to problem solve and troubleshoot or intervene. Yeah. Okay. But now I'm gonna help the whole city. And you got people who don't identify with the non-traditional way of doing things. They make because they comfortable. And my thing is we gotta make people uncomfortable. Even the criminals, man, like he out here killing babies. That's a no-no. My thing is once you get these guys the resources and help they need, then you can run them to all these different avenues. Right now you can't run them nowhere but to the wolf and the fox because there's nowhere for them to go. And I want to change that.
Yeah. It's crazy. I was just out down by City Hall interviewing people, just asking them about what do you think the current state of the city is? Right. What do you think that needs to be changed? And I was talking to a guy who's been living on the street for the last year, and he said that we were both talking about the same exact thing about most of our mayors aren't from Baltimore. And if they are from Baltimore, they're not from a place in which they can have legitimate life experience that relates to people who are in the trenches, so to speak. Right. Because there is no, whenever you have people in office who make statements like the one that was said a couple weeks ago about how it's not us, about whether or not it's true, that might be a fact. Yes, we know that politicians aren't literally pulling up guns and going out and killing people, but that creates more of a gap between people who might be in those certain neighborhoods. And hoping that a politician will be able to partner with them and figure it out together instead of putting the blame on somebody else.
I mean, that's just lack of leadership, man. At the end of the day, I respect and love all those elected officials that's currently serving Baltimore. I think their mind in the right place. No, I think their heart
is in the right place.
I think that they are intentionally trying to move Baltimore forward. I just don't think they have the capability of doing so for lack of experience dealing with the core problem. Because if I'm mayor, and right now we got elected officials who's talking about running for further or future office, my question to those guys or ladies, what are you doing now? Yeah. So why do we gotta wait until you become something else to change things? But someone like myself who's invested in it can ask that question and may not never get an answer. Someone who's not invested in it can say to themselves, well, why am I waiting for him to come down my chimney and he's Santa Claus now? You Santa Claus now, but you want me to wait till Christmas to bring something, right? Yeah. That doesn't make sense to me, but it might make sense to somebody who can't think outside the box. Yeah. In my forward years, in 2015, we had a major atrocity with the uprising, right? Kids, protested, violently, and they felt like they was being discriminated against. There was no equality, there was no justice, and they had right to feel that way. Absolutely. Police, misconduct, again, all type of improprieties where the Department of Justice had to, implement the dissent decree. Yeah. But when I think about moving forward, have the mindset of the inner city kid change. Now, the police department might have changed the way they do business, but the kid hasn't changed his mindset because he hasn't seen anything that make him change. Exactly. And my phobia is that something's going to happen, and when it happens, they're not going to stop. Because now, we got in front of it last time. We got in front of the riot, told these kids, let's meet at Cloverdale, let's talk about this. Yeah. We did a peaceful protest from East Baltimore to West Baltimore. We walked down St. Paul Street, And at that time, I didn't know what to say. I wasn't a community activist. People think I am. I just love my city.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating for one way or another, but for the fact that we get what we're supposed to get and live happy ever after.
Yeah.
That's my position.
Yeah.
Not about, this person get this job or that person get that job. I want our schools to be, the best in the nation. I want our recreation centers, to be equipped, and make sure these kids are qualified to compete, whether it be education or recreation, right? Yeah. And be safe, and then get all the resources that we're supposed to have, whether it be grievance counseling, trauma centers, things like that to help us move forward. That's what I advocate for. But I'm not out here on the ground trying to start an argument and protest any and everything because I got more to do with my time. But what's missed in this whole scenario, as you compare Baltimore to maybe when Mike Brown got killed, or Trayvon Martin, all those different things. The difference between Baltimore is that we don't have a lot of resources to cling on to. We don't see a lot of celebrities on the ground every single day. It's true. Telling us everything's gonna be okay. They might do it on TV, but not on the ground. And what I'm saying is that no one has never revisited the kids' trauma that was affected by the pre-riot. Now let's talk about post-riot and evaluate the kid and see if they better off or worse off. Statistics will tell you they worse off because we're killing more people now than we did before the riots happened. The last time we had under 200 murders was in 2011. Which I think was 197 or something like that. But I'm saying now, every year after that, the upper 200s, right? Or 200s, and now we 300 for the 5th year in a row. And we're not even in December yet. That alarms me because, some of those kids, I witnessed going through a lot of problematic issues with no help. I went to those funerals, I spoke at some of those funerals, and I'm not using parents as a backdrop to say, let's vote. No, let's give these young kids who still have a chance to live some help. Yeah. And hopefully these mothers can use their experience as a form of empathy for the other mother who lost her child to come together and build some type of coalition to speak life into these situations because not is real dark. People are hopeless, they desensitized, and what you're going to see is a repeat but this time on steroids, what happened in 2015.
And it's, as you're talking, it makes me think about how there's this whole new conversation about mental health awareness, whatever, which is important. I never thought that was important. I never had any access to mental health, whatever, as a kid, even though I went to private school. There was my family didn't have any connection to therapists or anything like that. That's not a part of my culture. I didn't grow up with that. Oh, you're dealing with this. Okay, go see somebody. Go talk to somebody. Yeah, that wasn't a part of it. When I did get kicked out of school, a part of that process of me trying to figure out what were the things that led to it was going to talk to somebody. And through that, I understood the importance of a therapist, of talking to someone who can be a wise person and give you perspective, and who can associate with your problems and understand that, okay, boom, you're going through this, and this, but what's the problem? You're angry. Or what's really the problem? You're upset or you're sad on a basic level, and let's address the roots of those. And what's happening now is we're having this big mental health conversation, but none of the issues, none of the effects of the problem have ever been talked about when it comes to the black community.
Well, a lot of people wasn't even properly diagnosed. Mm-hmm. You got people who don't even have health insurance. Mm-hmm. You got people who don't even go see the doctors. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them don't even know what they have, what they don't have. They just know something is wrong. Yeah. And one thing I learned about the black male is that he hates to be told that he's crazy or something is wrong, because then his self-esteem comes into question, and then he's really going to be in denial about the help he needs, and he'll pedal backwards. Yeah. But that has been... what
do you think the roots of those are? What do you think the causes of that is?
Well, because education. No one has informed us on how to probably be screened to go get the help we need, because we have been alienated from proper treatment or evaluation because we don't really have health insurance. And most people got medical assistance. What type of medical, attention you gonna get, at that rate? And I mean, most of us grew up that way, but I'm thinking nowadays when you got kids that's desensitized and, they don't even know why, and like if they grew up in a household where their father or mother was physically or sexually abused, that trauma affects anyone. You got kids that has been traumatized in Baltimore City more than people have been in Iraq.
Yeah.
I think in Iraq, it was 4,400 something murders. I'm sorry, casualties, you know. And you live in the city of Baltimore, and that was from 2003 to 2011. That was a war.
Wow.
But now you live in Baltimore, where we're not at war traditionally, but we got approximately 18 something homicides, almost half of what that may be of a real war in another country. That doesn't show leadership to me. That doesn't show anything but we're repeating the same thing over and over again, looking for a different result. And I'm just a fad. I'm a fad guy. You know, I don't know it all. You know, we talk about being millionaires. I never thought I would be a millionaire, right? No, I have been blessed, you know, to make money legally by doing things I like and love to do.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell you, man, if the time ever comes for me to get out the way and let someone else who I know can do a better job than me, and it's affecting people's lives, I'm gonna be the first person to go. I see people every single day, man, they are so ineffective and they don't want to do nothing new because, you know, it makes them feel like they're no longer part of the problem. Well, no, you can still be a part of the solution, but don't be a part of the problem.
Yeah.
And part of the solution is finding someone else who can fix it.
Yeah.
You like sports, right? Mm-hmm. You know, who's your team?
Ravens.
So if the Ravens right now go 0-16, who the first person to go?
The coach.
Right. So you can blame the quarterback as much as you want, but the first person to go is the coach because they feel like his leadership and the culture of his coaching is not relating to the players. Well, that's the same thing in city government. Yeah. You know, why y'all guys hanging on, you know, and there's certain ideas when y'all mouth don't even resonate. Like when you said about the comedy made about that, you know, and I like them, you know.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's time to do something different. I just think that a lot of older folk are afraid. We can't lock our way about this problem. Yeah. I can relate to those kids. I know what they want musically. Yeah. I know what their education look like. Yeah. You know, I know what they want to be like in 5-10 years. If you close to 70 years old, you can't go back 40 years and say, oh, I remember what it was when I was 20. Because nobody can relate to that. I can't relate to the music these kids playing. I'm in music. Yeah. But I'm just saying that, you know, it affects me because if I go to, you know, a show and I'm looking for a date and I see a bunch of women sitting down there with, you know, real short shorts on, and I see a nice young lady with a dress on, but she might have come from a rough neighborhood. Yeah. She's still gonna be my choice because, you know, her being closed hand is better than an open hand. Yeah. Because I don't know what I might get out of this. This is showing me nothing. And I'm saying right now, I think we're repeating the same cycle of lethargic thinking people, man, that's affecting our city as a whole. And everybody's laughing at us because we won't do the right thing. We're gonna try nothing new. And I'm saying, you can always vote a person out. Nothing is for life. But to keep doing the same thing to me says something about us. I'm saying, I've been doing the work, and 80% of the reason why I wanted to get involved in this process was not to become mayor. Like, I do good for myself. I'm making terrible sacrifices right now. But I want the young kids you talk about, the 10-year-old Stokey, to see you can be something else. You can go through some things and still come back.
I was just talking to my roommate. So my roommate is from Ohio and he lived in Arizona, and he sometimes gets perplexed by the problems that Baltimore has. Right. And I try to give him some context. And we just had a conversation about, you know, a lot of people might look at me or look at you or look at somebody, right, whoever it is, and say, well, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? You could be doing that, that would give you so many benefits, that would increase your pocket, that would do all this stuff for you. Why are you sitting around talking to people on the street? Why are you sitting around having conversations with people on the ground, or trying to give people a voice for what? And I say the exact same thing. It's representation. I never forget I had a moment, and it was a small moment, but it meant so much to me. I was sitting in a coffee shop that is usually a predominantly white coffee shop. Right. And I'm just sitting there doing my work, getting it done. And I see a group of black students on a field trip. I guess they're on a field trip walking through Charles Village, through that area. And I never forget, a bunch of them just stopped and stared at me for like legitimately a good 2-3 minutes. And I'm looking up at them and they're looking at me. And I know in their mind, they're thinking, seeing me, a whole bunch of other white people, maybe Hopkins students. Who are you? Who are you? Like, what did you do to have to get in there? And for me to tell them, I didn't do nothing but be myself, you know, and avoid a lot of the traps that my cousins, my families, my uncles fell into through way of education, For me, a big way that I stayed out of trouble was staying in school. As corny as that may sound.
That's not corny, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And even when I look at the business, complexion of Baltimore, some of these business owners, investors, developers need to give minorities a chance.
Yep.
A guy by the name of Greg Greenberg, owner of Shoe City, man, he gave me a chance to work in this marketing department. And, we made some great history together, We made some first timers for his country, First time we had Nike online, and first time we had dismounted stores, whatever it may be, but he gave me a chance. And that's rare, and it shouldn't be. It should be normalized. And, my hope and my prayer is that most companies in Baltimore hire more people who have experience and who's qualified, but may not be clean as they would want them to be. Because everybody has a past, I can tell you, man, waking up some mornings, without a father, probably didn't affect me. But I look back, it did, because had I had my father, I had somebody to play catch with. I love sports. I could have been a professional football player. Who knows? But what God got for me is for me. Ain't no doubt in my mind that God wanted me to walk this walk, to go through what I've been through. And I don't get upset when those people say he's not qualified. Well, I say, well, guess what? I'm not. But you tell me they are. You're worrying about what I'm going to do, right? Yeah. But you're telling me you're okay with what they do.
Yeah. And above and beyond any of this is the fact that they don't feel like they need to do anything to prove themselves to us.
No, because because again, man, one thing I learned about arrogant people who are in politics, everyone has a political, block of voters who are dedicated and loyal no matter what they do. And it's likability, favorability, whatever you want to call it, right? But if you do a consensus and you test the temperament of the city and you ask everybody about the leadership, we can blame the shooting, right? We can blame the gun manufacturing, right? But what are we doing to change that? And are we partnering with people who can help make a difference? I am a community leader. I'm not a community stakeholder who don't have, I'm a leader. And none of those people have reached out to me and asked me how can I help them. And the thing is, that's arrogance to me, because we talking about West Baltimore. I can do music events with the city. I can bring artists in town. I can help them develop a very cohesive relationship and bond with some of the most problematic guys in the city. I've done it before. Former Commissioner Davis invited me to do a problem-solving troubleshoot forum with rappers who were beefing. I got them together with the police. We squashed the beef. Nobody can come in Baltimore with police and not be able to rat or snitch. They knew what I was doing, and they trust me. So they did it, and the newspaper was there, and that was resolved. The problem I'm having is that they don't do it now because of leadership. That guy was trying to solve the problem. Unfortunately, he came in at a bad time where the city was out of control, and the culture of the department was beyond him. And he didn't have enough time and focus to change the street and the culture of the police department. You can't do both simultaneously, you know what I'm saying? So you got to save one or the other. And he was trying to save the streets. And I understand that, but the culture need to be changed to a point where you put the best qualified police out there who understand who's engaged, who got the public and the community best interest, and that way you can move forward. But if not, you're going to always be in the red because you're trying to fix two things at one time, and you got 2,900 police that you can't change, and you're talking about a city of 600-some people, 600-some-thousand people, you know what I'm saying?
So what are you doing now in terms of mentorship with youth? Because you mentioned that.
I mean, I go to schools every week whenever I'm available, man. Of course, I'm still working, in my marketing capacity, but I'm running for mayor, trying to find ways to connect with voters to understand exactly why I'm doing it, and who I'm doing it for. And anytime I get to mentor people, kids, I do it. Like I say, whether it be in school, after school, wherever, their need is, I try to meet them, But it's hard because you're not having a mentor platform to, call kids into or invite them over and you can, give them the love, care, and concern they need, because that's most of them all they really need, somebody to love and care about, But I'm looking forward to really bridging the gap with people who are already in that field and hopefully creating a bigger platform so those skill sets can be developed citywide and more resources can be implemented and everybody can get the help they need who falls in a particular criteria. Because everybody don't need mentorship. Some people need PRP, which is another form of mentorship. But and some people need medication. So you got to vet these individuals, screen them properly, and see what their needs are. But make sure the resources are in place. So when you find what their need is, you can address it.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I see. So my aunt and uncle used to run a mental rehabilitation center that was successful about 5 years ago. My aunt passed away. But while that, I used to work and help them out, just little stuff in here and there. And I noticed that one of the big things with that and with myself is that black people have, as a people, for good reason, don't have a good relationship with the medical system. There's been a history within, I think, to properly phrase this, within the black psyche as a people of distrust between black people and doctors, between healthcare providers, or between the hospital, for whatever reason, right? So in my neighborhood, we have Bon Secure, or some people call Bon Secure, or whatever, where that provided a certain type of care for black people. It's the same thing. I was talking to somebody yesterday, having a conversation with somebody yesterday about the relationship kids have with schools. There's a sense of distrust in terms of, you don't have my best interest in mind. So how do you try and regain the trust of the people for these different systems?
Man, by experience, man, you just said it, man. People don't have respect, relationship, or trust for a lot of agencies in the city. Police,
exactly.
Clergy, politicians. So again, man, it goes back to experience, man. You have to be someone that these people can look up and you say, what, he or she has been through it, they're going through it, or I trust they will help me get through it.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel that way about a person after having a conversation with you, like right now, me and you met 25, 30 minutes ago, right? But I can tell you're a good person. And, and I hope the same can be reciprocated. Yeah. But if not,
absolutely,
I know that when you try to build a relationship with somebody, if there is no common denominator, there's going to always be a disconnect. Yeah. And right now, when you see clergy, they can reach a person on Sunday, but why can't they reach them on Friday? Because there's no relationship. Police got to put fear in your heart to be aggressive to get something done. They can't be assertive or passive because that's not what the police is supposed to look like. And then look at politicians, most of them got to lie to get you to get them there and then forget what they're going to do when they get there. Yeah. Me, it's simple. I'm going to do what I've been doing, and that's the difference. What I've been doing for free without a title. I would love to keep doing it on this side of the fence, but they won't recognize me, and I can help more people on the other side.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense, right? Does. And I'm saying right now, you got people like, man, he can't win. Watch me. Because see, right now, it's numbers game, and I'm too smart to do something that don't know what I'm doing. I'm not focused on those who don't get it, because they gonna get the same that they've been getting. And I stand on this. They might not call me now, but they gonna call me later. But my phone will not work then. Because I might be doing something different. I'm just saying, I can't do myself a disservice forever. I feel like I'm giving Baltimore all I have.
Okay, so this is a personal thing that I've seen, not really personal, but that's something that I've seen about a lot of community leaders like yourself, a lot of black leaders get burnt out by not feeling as though, and in reality, not getting the support that they need. I've seen plenty of leaders in different communities. My cousin is a community organizer in the Drew Hill area, Candace Chance, and some other people. But just having conversations with her and about the stuff, as well as myself, the little bit of mentoring that I've done here and there to try and do whatever it is I can, it can be very draining. And if there's no system to say, well, you have let's say you got...
It's definitely draining, because I'm definitely draining when you don't have the resources.
Exactly.
One thing about me, I've been blessed not to need them for nothing. See, they never gave me anything. No trash can. They never gave me a trash bag. And I was able to supply with partners like Shoe City. Like yesterday, we gave out turkeys. We've been doing that on our own, no help from the city. And they know this. I just got one citation, thank God for, Leon Pickett, who is, the city council for the 7th district, right? I've been doing community work for the last 10 years and never been recognized. But that's not why I do it. Yeah. And I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, I'm happy with self. Yeah. I don't need them for nothing. I respect them, but I don't need them to forward my agenda. Yeah. Like some other people do.
But how do we, as people, how do the people support you? Because there are people, if let's say half of the city knows what you're doing. Right. But the other half of the city don't know what you're doing.
And that's because the platform that could help advertise or promote it won't do it.
Yeah.
The news will come out if somebody get killed, but they won't come out if you're doing a celebration because that's not news to them.
Yeah.
That doesn't keep the viewership up. People want to know what are we doing justify the $5 million spending in terms of crime. So if somebody get killed, we want to make sure the money that we thought we spent on our taxes is going to address those problems.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear about the kid that graduated from college. No one wants to hear all that, but that's what we need to hear.
Yeah.
That's why we got to create our own news media outlet, and we start depending on people to do things for us. I'm hopeful that the message will translate. That it will resonate with guys like you who have these platforms, whether it be big, small, or otherwise. We'll start to pretty much promote it because if you don't, then we can't expect nobody to get it. Because I can only do so much by myself. I'm not gonna go up here and stand on top of City Hall with a white flag like, giving out turkeys, right? I use my platforms free as they may be, the Instagram, the Facebook, and everybody know what I'm doing, where I'm at. And at the end of the day, they show up. I never fell short of having a successful activation. Because I know people know what I'm doing is consistent. If I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Few people who I might not have came through before, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Something might have happened, but you look at my record. I think I'm in the 90% come through ratio.
Yeah.
But and then you got people going, man. Baltimore tough. Baltimore tough city. I've been here, 26 years longer than you. Baltimore tough city, man. But right now, I'm just happy. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying. And I'm successful for the most part, and I'm putting my best foot forward. I believe in my heart that your generation are smart enough to know what y'all need.
Absolutely.
I believe that y'all going to engage like never before.
Absolutely.
I believe y'all going to show up and show out for what y'all think going to move y'all agenda forward.
Absolutely.
And it don't got to be me. I pray that it's a leader, but I don't see that person. And I'm just saying, if I look at the people who are voting, you got wonderful guys like T.J. Smith. I love T.J.
Yeah.
I think TJ has done a wonderful job as a civil servant. I just wish he would have got back on the ground earlier.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
Because I think I could have helped TJ connect the dots that he needed to connect to get the trust and the hope. Unfortunately, he lost his brother. Yeah. So he can empathize with people who lost a loved one. Yeah. But there's so many other distinctions between being a civil servant and a community guy full time. You got to live this stuff to understand why it works. You can't work this stuff and think you're gonna figure it out on the job because. It's not like that, and people should be able to relate to you not based on a job description, based on who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you sending somebody to work for you that you don't even know how they is as a person. We gotta fix that, but I can't. See, I can do my job if y'all give me a chance.
Absolutely.
Because I've been doing it for free already. Yeah. So now it's not on me. The responsibility is on the people, and they don't understand that. Stop putting pressure on the candidates. It's not on me. Yeah. Until I get there, it's on y'all to pick who y'all want there and then live with the results. Yeah. If God says Stokey not right now, I'm okay with that. I'm not coming back in 4 years, but because I'm not gonna be. I'm not the type of person that's just running for everything. Yeah. I just feel like right now is the time to save my city. Yeah. And hopefully we can do it. I watched it in 2015, didn't get better. 16 didn't get better. 17 didn't get better. 18 didn't get better. Now me in 19, you talking about the same thing. And in 20, I can tell you this was not talked about. If you got 1,600 something people that have been murdered in 5 years, almost 48% of those people are going to retaliate. So in 2020, what you're going to see is a whole different scenario, but similar problems in different 2019, because it never was addressed. Go back to what I said about the kids that dealt with the uprising. If you don't address the pain, it's going to bleed over to something else. Yeah. And that's why you see women getting killed. It's hurting people. They don't really care who they target now. Yeah. They want to make you feel like they feel. Yeah. You took something from them. And they want to take something from you no matter what it is, And it's a shame, but we got to address that. And I don't think no politician can address that pain. Some clinicians or therapists and psychiatrists can. Yeah. But somebody who went through it can help them get the help they need and make them feel comfortable on making a decision. Exactly. Because they're going to say, you made it, so I can make it.
Exactly. And that's that trust that we talked about. Right. And that doesn't exist currently with the current administration and politicians at all.
And it's so sad because you would think that they would come up and say, you know what, man, let's do something different. Yeah. But they selfish. we got all this corruption, right? We got all these improprieties, from police department to politicians, right? And being over 65%, black, they want us to keep voting for complexion, right? I'm saying we got to do something different. We do not need another politician because politicians don't reach the people with the problem. They govern the problem, but they govern the people who don't really have it.
And it's all, and a lot of it boils down to self-preservation. A lot of people are only focused on how do I keep my job? How do I keep doing what I do?
I gave you the story about the coach, man. Sometimes you gotta resign, to save the team.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. And I'm not saying wait till something happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not fulfilling your obligation to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's in your best interest as a person and as a man to do right by the people.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, you talking about people's lives, people's future. If you really care about them, do right by them.
But it goes back to what you said when we talked about earlier, which is if you have never actually had a real relationship with any of those people, as sad and maybe as heartless as it might seem, a lot of people do not view certain areas of this city as viable.
No, and I get that, because when you look at the investments, I understand why. But what I'm saying is that Baltimore has been like a test tube project for the longest time. Like, we tried the airplane, we tried this, we tried that. I'm of the opinion that we have to find ways to bridge the divide, get more people involved that want to see Baltimore thrive and not just say that.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them individuals who invest my money, my time, in this city for it to grow, because the city gave me so much. So at the end of the day, I can just do my best.
Yeah.
I'm going to promote my message holistically, organically as possible.
Yeah.
Try to resonate with people like yourself who I think will get it, and perpetuate the message to people who don't get it.
Yeah.
And if I get it in front of them and explain to them my vision, my story, my plan, I think they will be overwhelmed with support. Because everybody came out with a crime plan, right? I said, well, I don't want no crime plan, I want a people's plan.
Yeah.
Because my plan talks about helping people before they become criminals.
That means you're expecting the crime to happen, and you're just saying,
So my thing is, let's be proactive, not reactive. But I need more platforms to talk about that on, because I know how it works. I've been there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel as though politicians don't feel as though they have any accountability from the people. They feel as though, people might get mad, but they ain't gonna do nothing. They don't feel.
Well, they can't do nothing until 4 years.
Exactly.
So then, like, it's not like everybody gonna say, "We'll impeach him," get him out. I'm saying to you is that,
But I'm talking about even before. What platform do all people running for mayor have to go to talk to?
What platform?
What platform? Where do they have to go as a mayor? Where do they have to go for people in Baltimore to see what their stance is?
The news. The only platform that I can think of that goes to media.
Okay. Is the news, really?
Right, the media.
But no mayor or no mayors or people running or go to the same place where people trust that source and say, okay, I know this person or these people are going to give a fair shake.
Because I think that's when you got the constituents and the pundits coming in. And the thing of the day, I'm saying, like right now, think about this. Back in 1865, when the Confederates was not trying to go with, the United States. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we're not going with this United States thing. We're going to go against that. We're going to form our own government. Yeah. We're going to call ourselves the Confederates, whatever they said, I think the guy might have been named John Anderson, I can't remember. But anyway, you have a form of resistance everywhere. But we don't have that today. So either you vote for me or you don't. If I win, I'm going to do what I got to do, and then you vote me out. Yeah. And then, like Trump, look what we're going to do with Trump. I mean, Obama didn't have 5% of this stuff going on. But he had 6 years of opposition because he had a Republican Senate and House. But now I'm saying Baltimore is governed by black officials in 2015. Think about this. You might not know this. Don't ever forget this is a fact. Baltimore was one of the major cities that made history in 2015. You know why? Because we had a black president, we had a black attorney general, we had a black mayor, a black president, a black attorney general, a black state's attorney, a black sheriff. All these black people in leadership, and we still committed more murders in Baltimore than any other year of the 1993. So that means it's not complexion.
Not a black. That's it.
It's leadership. So what I'm saying to you is that we need someone who knows how this right here works. Yeah. That's gonna work itself. That's already working. Yeah. Right? But they can't fix this, and guess what? This is gonna spread. In the middle, it's gonna spread. And when it spread, it's gonna affect this, that, and they're gonna wanna leave. Yeah. Because they don't know how to contain this. Yeah. They built a $30 million prison for juveniles. Was that needed? Was that a need? Or do we need $30 million worth of schools or public housing or whatever? But there's a need. Yeah. But he wanted to create jobs, right? And I get it, but you're not gonna put no pigeons in there. You're putting our babies in there. But But I'm saying rightfully so. You saying, okay, you don't want to violate their constitutional rights and do X, Y, Z. But I'm telling you right now, it was an immediate need.
Yeah.
Could we have spent that $30 million on something different?
Yeah.
In the city of Baltimore,
Yeah.
that's a need right now. We closing down one of the historical black colleges.
Yeah.
You know, whatever financial problem they may have,
Yeah.
but think about saving something like that.
Yeah.
So more kids say, no, I want to go to the same college my mother went to.
Yeah.
That runs in the family.
Yeah.
Nobody want to say, I want to go to the same junior gym my man went to. I talk like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that sometimes, man, you know, when we put out something behind the 8 ball,
Yeah.
we're not in a position, you know, to fuss or argue, man. But
Yeah.
this has been wonderful. I like these type of opportunities, man. You know what I mean? You know, again, man, you know, I appreciate you having me. You know,
of course. I'm happy to have you. I'm happy that you came. My goal is to as many as people who are running for mayor to have an open, honest conversation, put it out there, and let people see.
Yeah, you
what's really going like
that's
the
it.
real. What's a real conversation?
Yeah, I don't know how to be nothing else. I mean, like, you know, and like I said, I love all those guys.
Yeah.
Man. You know, I love Brandon.
Yep.
I love Jack. You know, I love TJ. You know, I don't know Vigor, Naga. I don't know him that much. Well, we seen several times, but you know, I love Sheila. I mean, I love, you know, bless the soul of, you know, in the hearts, you know, and I pray that, you know, Captain Pugh, you know, situation, you know, get dealt with in Godspeed, you know.
Yeah.
But I got a relation with all those black, wonderful people.
Yeah.
I just think right now we got to do something different.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's the analogy that you use. Every coach is not good for every team.
No.
It's the exact same thing. One coach over here.
How many coaches LeBron James had?
Exactly.
How many championships he won?
Exactly.
So don't mean that every year you win a championship.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is that, you know, you got to find someone
That fits.
that fits.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is right now the pop. I might not fit next year
Exactly.
when we get back up.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's a 4-year cycle. Now
Yeah.
it used to be 2. Now it's
Yeah.
4-year cycle. What I'm saying is that, but right now, this bloodshed,
Yeah.
those kids will respond to me, will respond to anybody in office because they're not responding now.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they can do something, they will do it now.
And if people care about the problem and not their ego, they wouldn't care. They say, "Oh yeah, you know, Stokey's he's the best guy for the job."
Right now.
Yeah, right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. How can I help? How can I
And, see,
partner?
and that's my thing. They're not doing that
Yeah.
because it's personal or it's
Yeah.
political, and that's why I don't deal with certain people. Because right now, if I need a grant
Yeah.
or I need permission to do this, I gotta go to the city. I'm gonna go to them. I'm not gonna say, no, I ain't gonna get that.
Yeah.
Forget that, man. I'm gonna go follow protocol and do what I need to do. So there you have it, man. But I mean, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. You did a wonderful job. You're a good 23-year-old man. You know, I look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely.
Man. I'm gonna check you out, man. We're gonna go
Absolutely.
from
I'm
there,
saying
man.
that. We'll figure it out. I appreciate you for taking the time.
I got
This was
you.
great.